The year is 1989, and this is you. You live in a council estate in Manchester with your mum and two brothers. Your life is very normal for the time. You smoke, drink, and are a general menace. You're at school, earning all 4 of your GCSEs, so everyone knows you're not silly. This is your brother. He's a roadie for a small band, living the only dream he's ever had. So when you say brotherly love, what do you think of? Maybe sport, watching the big game with your family, or early childhood memories. If you have a brother, you probably think of them. Well, you're wrong. Brotherly love is playing rock and roll gigs together until your voice breaks, fingers bleed, and you can't bear the sight of each other for 16 years. This week, we see the shenanigans of Britpop titans Oasis. Noel had always been a music guy, but Liam was a late bloomer. He never cared for music really, until he got smacked on the head with a hammer. As you do.
I was in school and I was about 15 and a load of other lads come down from another school and we were having a cigarette. He's gone whack with his hammer on my head. Anyway, after that, in my head, I believe, I started hearing music, man.
You never were really that into music.
I thought music was for weirdos, man.
All of a sudden, there were Beatles posters on the walls and goons in the garage making a racket. And with the agreement that Noel would write the songs and be the boss, Oasis officially existed. Despite exploding so rapidly when they exploded, Oasis meddled for a while. Their debut single, Supersonic, was released nearly 3 years after the band formed. But it was a massive hit, and once the single started rolling, they didn't stop rolling. Some might even say they hit the ground running, with Shaker Maker, Cigarettes and Alcohol, and my favourite song on the planet, Live Forever. At this point, Oasis were the biggest band in the UK before they'd even released an album. At least, Liam seemed to think so.
And if it goes number 1, it goes number 1. If it goes number 4, it goes number 4. I don't care. Because I know we're the best band on the planet with the best songs.
Oasis was cemented in UK folklore on the 29th of August 1994 when their debut album, Definitely Maybe, was released to the public. To this day, it's one of the best-selling debut albums since Boston's self-titled project. The English population had been yearning for something new in the Dower Thatcher era, and though Oasis was not what they expected, and definitely not what they wanted, it was exactly what they needed. Oasis were the exact typification of Rockstars. They probably were before they even wrote a song. This band did not care at all. They went to prestigious award ceremonies pissed as a maggot. They feuded with half the music industry. And when I say they, I mean Liam. Here's some highlights.
All the people. All the people. So many people. And they walk your counting hands. Ending hands through their shite life.
I don't think they're important for the 90s. You know what I mean? I think we've got to get back to rock and roll, not Chaz and Dave chimney sweeping music.
I don't go grabbing anyone. He messed my fucking hair up, so I pulled his hat off and booted it across the room, and that's it.
You booted Andrew Salmer's hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, the day I take musical advice off Robbie Williams, mate, is the day I piss in my own mouth and then shoot myself in the dick. You know what I mean?
Liam and Noel reached a level of fame that hadn't been seen in the UK since the Beatles. After the release of their second album, and perhaps their best, What's the Story, Morning Glory, these two were virtually gods. Unfortunately, their biggest feud was with each other. Liam and Noel's fame reached a point where a recording of this argument...
Here's a quote for you from my manager, Marcus Russell, right?
He's a fucking other fucking...
Shut up, you dick, right? He gets off the ferry after getting fucking deported. I'm left in Amsterdam with my dick out like a fucking spare prick at a fucking wedding. Shut up! Shut up! Right? He gets off the ferry. Marcus says, what are you fucking doing? You know, what the fuck's got...
Wonderful, magical, wonderful.
What are you doing all that? He says, right?
Yeah.
These lot think it's rock and roll to get thrown off a ferry.
No, don't.
To get... Shut up! These lot think it's rock and roll to get thrown off... Shut the fuck up, man!
Actually managed to reach the UK singles chart. Their careers as Oasis reached a boiling point at their biggest show and one of the biggest shows in music history, Knebworth 1996. Tens of thousands came to see these boys from Manchester, and they were not disappointed. The show is considered one of the best ever, with the performance of Slide Away perhaps the highlight. Unfortunately, Oasis never got any bigger than that. Their next album, 1997's Be Here Now, while selling incredibly and critically acclaimed on release, is now seen as not much more than a train wreck. The album has its highlights, with mega tunes such as Do You Know What I Mean and Don't Go Away. The album was generally far too long and contained a fair bit of nonsense. Now, Oasis were far from ruined. They were still the biggest band in the UK
On the planet.
and by a fair way. But they were never the same after Be Here Now. At some point, Oasis's fame became less about the music they were making and more about the constant drama between Liam and Noel. Liam lost his voice in the 2000s thanks to drugs, alcohol and a difficult thyroid problem, and tensions continued to rise year on year between the two brothers. It wasn't until 2009 when Noel had finally had enough of Liam's nonsense and broke up the band and left his brother. After Noel left Oasis, the other members tried to continue without him under the name BDI, but save for a small hit or two, it never really took off and they split up after releasing just 2 albums. The feud between the brothers since Oasis's breakup is as well documented as any. In the 15 years since, they haven't said a word to each other. They have, though, said a fair bit about each other. But the story is not over yet. As of 2024, they're back. Oasis Live 25 has been announced for July next year in one of the largest moments for rock music in recent history. Will they last more than 2 shows? Probably not, but that's what makes the Gallagher Show such a fascinating one. And that's the story of Oasis. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe and whatnot. Anyway, here's Wonderwall.